Welcome back, all my cheeseheads. Welcome to another RE-PACK-TION podcast where I react to this horrible game that I just witnessed. The Green Bay Packers go into Cleveland and lay an absolute goose egg. Just absolute horrible game. I'm tempted to say this is one of the worst losses maybe ever. This is very reminiscent of that 2021 playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers where they lost 13-10, which ironically they lost to Cleveland 13-10. You know, both games, the offense didn't come to play today. Offensive line struggles and special team struggles. It's very similar games. Just absolute shit show. I don't even know where to begin. This is just a horrible loss. You come into this game beating Washington on a Thursday, who was, in the NFC Championship game last year. You go and beat the two-time NFC North champion Detroit Lions week 1. You're at an all-time high. Now you're going in your first road game of the year against an 0-2 Cleveland Browns team who, albeit were desperate for a win. Their season was on the line. Only one team in NFL history has started 0-3 and made it into the playoffs, and that was the 2018 Houston Texans. So I understand that Cleveland was coming into this game. They needed this win so bad, but they had 0 points up until the third or fourth quarter. It was just the Packers defense came to play today. It just absolute horrible game. Where do I start with the struggles? I'll start with the positives. The Green Bay Packers defense did come to play. Quay Walker, 14 tackles. Rashawn Gary had 2 sacks today. Nice to see him have a nice start to the season. It's a product of Micah Parsons. He had 4.5. Rashawn Gary has 4.5 sacks already this year. He's well on pace to get more than 10 sacks this year, which would be a career high. Micah Parsons, if you look at the box score, it's only going to say he has 2 tackles, but once again, played a nice factor into the game. Felt like Joe Flacco was rushed all day because I think they said on the TV that Micah Parsons has 6 or 7 pressures in the game, which is huge. I'm really starting to believe that sacks and pressures are very close to similar stuff. If you can get the pressures, that's almost just as good as having sacks. So Xavier McKinney had a nice interception at the end of the half. Would have loved to see him bat it down. I get in real time it's very hard to not intercept that ball, but bat that. If he bats that stuff down, there's 2 seconds left where he can have the offense throw a Hail Mary and try to get something crazy to happen, because as you can see in the NFL, there was 3 field goal blocks in a span of 15 minutes. Just absolute. This is why NFL is king, because you can get these games where Cleveland can go in and beat Green Bay, who is by all accounts the number 1 ranked team or number 2 ranked behind Philadelphia in the NFL power rankings. And it's just an absolutely disappointing game. Now you got to go into Dallas next week, Sunday Night Football. Dak Prescott is playing well. There's horrible stuff, and pretty much that's all I can say for positives, because I guess offensively, Golden, who led the team in receptions, 4 catches, 52 yards. It was very obvious, and it was just very obvious that Matt LaFleur was trying to get Matthew Golden going. They wanted to get him going, and it was nice to see him have a few catches. John Fitzpatrick, the third-string tight end, had his first NFL touchdown today. But other than that, I'm sorry, it's going to be a lot of disappointing stuff. Jordan Love fucking did not have a great game today, and it all goes back to that horrible interception. In the fourth quarter, and a guy who hadn't thrown an interception in 10 games, weirdly enough, when I saw that stat that Love hadn't thrown an interception 9 or 10 games, I couldn't even believe that, but throws a horrible fourth quarter interception. That was literally how you were going to lose this game, throwing interceptions in a close game in the fourth quarter. And it wasn't even dude was open. He was covered, and then the he was covered, and then another guy came in and also intercepted it. Like, it was just horrible stuff, and it's just, I just can't even express to you how frustrating this game was. Like, I can't even talk straight. But so there's two things. The offensive line absolutely played like ass today, like absolute ass. And it all started with Zach Tom going out today, who was questionable all week with that oblique injury. And the Packers, who are notoriously a team that will have, they'll play it so safe. They'll let guys rest for 3, 4, 5 weeks, even though they're 100% healthy. They always play it safe when it comes to these injuries. Today, Zach Tom came in, and what do you know? First play, gets hurt, and he's out for the rest of the game. So I can only imagine he's going straight to IR after this. And then also in the game, Aaron Banks went out today, was hurt all camp, and now he's hurt. So we'll see where he's at now. So that's two guys. So Jordan Morgan had to get plugged in right where Zach Tom was. Your rookie first round pick from a couple of years back, and he had easily his worst game of his career. 3 false starts, just absolutely inexcusable. And it's tough too, because you got him coming in, you got Darian Kennard coming in, and it switches everything up. And the Packers are notorious for like rotating their linemen and getting different reps at different spots. They're like the only team in the NFL that I know does that type of stuff. But there's a point where Jordan Morgan came in at right tackle, and then he went in at guard, and then they just kept on rotating. And I can only imagine it creates, like, how do you find any sort of rhythm as an offensive lineman, being like, okay, at right tackle I blocked this guy in this play, and then at left guard I blocked this guy on this play. And it's just, I just don't know, I don't know how you create a rhythm. So it's just, they're dealing with a lot, but give credit where credit's due. Cleveland, who had, the number one rushing defensive line, through these first 2 weeks, played absolutely fucking great. They were pressuring Jordan all day. Like, just, it seemed like every play Jordan couldn't, find time and was having to throw off platform, and it was just tough stuff. I didn't think Jordan had like a bad game up until that fourth quarter. He was 18 for 25, 183 yards. It was just, I thought he was doing fine, but that's just that interception just absolutely killed it for me. And that's why I will never not be a pessimistic fan. It's just, you're paying Jordan Love all this money. You cannot, and I get it. It's only week 3. People are not going to remember this by week 8. But man, that interception was so garbage, so brutal. He needs to be better, and that was just an inexcusable throw. Josh Jacobs, 16 carries, 30 yards. Like, that's 3 straight games now where, and I get it, you play, 3 really great defensive line, and each team is making it a point to stack the box so Josh Jacobs can't be the key factor to get this Green Bay Packers offense going. But we need to figure out this offensive line and Josh Jacobs, because 16 carries for 30 yards is just not going to do it. It was nice to get him some receiving threats today. He had 5 catches for 44 yards, but just disappointing stuff today. I mean, Dobbs 2 catches, Wicks 2 catches, Kraft 3 catches. This is the problem you have, with this Packers offensive scheme. This is where a guy like Devontae Adams is nice for your team, because even if he's one-on-one, I'm going to throw it to him on 3rd down and 8, and he is going to come down with it some way, somehow. Whereas, Wicks, Dobbs, Reed, and Kraft, and all these guys, Golden, it's just like they're all, as of right now, they're all great, number 2 guys. They need that number 1 guy. And I'm not even saying like right now we're in panic mode and we need to go find a number 1 guy and trade everything away. But this is the game we play as Packers fans. We're just some weeks it's going to be nice where it's like, oh my gosh, everything's spread out and Jordan Love's throwing to 10 different guys and the defensive coordinator can't scheme up anything, to one side because they don't know who they're throwing it to. And then you get some weeks where it's like everything we're holding off all these guys and it's like, oh yeah, this guy only had 1 catch, this guy only had 2 catches, this guy only had 1 catch. It's just the game we play. But man, it's just such a disappointing loss. And by all account, the offensive line allowed 5 sacks. You had 14 penalties today, like so inexcusable. Matt LaFleur needs to get his shit together because he prides himself on these fucking penalties and playing smart. How many times does he say, play fucking smart? But 14 penalties is so inexcusable. And then special teams. Let's just move straight to special teams. Rich Bisaccia needs his fucking... There's no way. And I get it. Rich Bisaccia is not out there blocking. He's not out there. But, man, can Green Bay special teams ever not be the fucking worst thing in the world? Like I'm not even asking for a top 10 special teams. Just give me 15 to 20, ranked special teams. Like, can we not be like the dead last 31st special teams ranked every year? A blocked field goal today, and by everything that I'm hearing, the field goal that the Green Bay Packers did make, that was almost blocked. Like, just Rich Bisaccia, a man who is sought out by Matt LaFleur, a man who, by all accounts, the players love, and, former interim head coach for the Raiders, a man who is, excuse me, the highest paying special teams coach in NFL, I dare to say NFL history. I know he's the highest currently right now. Man, just special teams, please stop fucking up this team and franchise every single fucking year. So despicable stuff. Like, there was like 2 guys that could have blocked that last field goal. And you never see this shit. And I shouldn't say never because there's literally 3 field goals blocked today. But, like, other than these last 15 minutes, there's never been, like, a fucking team that gets their shit blocked. Like, it's just, I don't even know what to say. Just absolutely despicable stuff. But when you combine 5 sacks allowed, 14 penalties, a blocked kick, a costly interception, that's how you lose games in the NFL, without a doubt. And it's not even like, Green Bay won. They lost today, and not only did they lose, they lost Devontae Wyatt today. They lost Zach Tom today. They lost Aaron Banks today. They lost Javon Bullard today. No idea where all these guys are at. We'll see throughout the week, but just horrible. Just the worst possible thing that could have happened today. But hey, at least the Brewers won that NSL title today, so I'm trying to find any light of hope today. And I'm just thinking about that John Fitzpatrick's touchdown. Where was Luke Musgrave all game? I didn't hear his name once. Tucker Kraft was going to potentially not even be in this game, and potentially be out for like a significant amount of time, and by all miracles somehow made it into this game. But everyone was talking about, now it's time for Luke Musgrave to step up. Where is Luke Musgrave? I didn't hear him once all game. This is what happens in the NFL. Easily one of the worst losses I've ever seen. Green Bay had control of the game like freaking for 3 quarters, and then until they didn't, they just absolutely horrible game. But now we got to sit and wait and watch the rest of these games and see, Vikings just absolutely piss pounded the Bengals, like what the Packers should have done to the fucking Browns today. Bears Cowboys are in a close game. We'll see what the Lions do against the Ravens, but now we got to sit and wait until next week till we play the Cowboys, who are going to be a tough team, regardless if they're 1-2 or 2-1. They're going to be a tough team. Dak Prescott is playing some of his best football of the year. So Green Bay's got a lot of shit to think about. They got a lot of stuff they got to figure out with the offensive line. because they cannot lay another egg like this. These are the games you have to win in the NFL. They got a tough ass schedule. They got the Ravens, they got the Steelers, they got, Detroit again, Minnesota. It's just this is the game you look at and we're like, we needed this win. And for them to not get a win, Matt LaFleur has to be better. Jordan Love has to be better. This offensive line has to be better. This team needs to be better. This special teams, Rich Bisaccia, needs to be better. And I probably need to be better too in these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching and reacting to this with me. I would love for you guys to tell me what you guys think about this game in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week in Dallas.